Hey, physicsy people. So we are going to play with the PHET simulator a little bit today. You'll notice the lab that I scanned in has a few numbers written in on it. Should be able to read those okay, but I'll kind of talk them out as we're going here. What you're doing is trying to start building some slightly more complicated circuits and then figuring out how those relate to a really simple circuit, right? Because we've got the V equals IR, right? Voltage equals resistance times current that we can manipulate to figure out currents and voltages and all that kind of stuff in simple circuits. But what happens when you have 3 bulbs, 4 bulbs, 2 in parallel, 1 in series? So what we need to be able to do is figure out how to take a complicated circuit and break it down to a simple circuit, and then we can build it back up. So we're going to start doing that today. With this, right? So we'll do this over a couple of days. You know, this might be kind of really simple for you. It might be really complicated. Again, as always, if you're not getting it, right, come and see me and I can help you with it in just a few minutes, probably on a meet. So, but we're going to build the first one they want us to build is they want us to use 3 different resistors. So I just kind of like to set the stuff out here and then grab some wires in between. I like to try and set stuff up nice and organized on my table so I can see things well and all that kind of stuff. I did find a little button on here too where you can click over here where it says values. You can click values and it shows you. So the original lab that I found, because normally we do this, I tell kids to go build stuff. They build it, they measure stuff, and we come back and talk about it. And so I haven't normally used this website as much. And so anyway, they just had to pick 3 random values. I don't want to pick 3 random values because I'm giving you those little quizzes. So we'll have you do the first one is 1 ohm. The second one is 5 ohms. And the last one is 10 ohms. So 1, 5, and 10 ohms. We're going to do the same thing for the ones in parallel, right? This is series because you've got 1 loop, right? So that was one of the quiz questions I made for Monday is the loop rule. I have to be able to draw a path here. Right. So it doesn't necessarily have to have bulbs and this or this many things or whatever. It's just you have to be able to draw a whole path. So this is one circuit, right? So a 9-volt battery, 1 ohm, 5 ohms, 10 ohms. The little thing tells you to hook up your ammeters like this, you know, with this thing instead of. Well, my phone's ringing. Okay, so anyway, I prefer to just use the floating ammeter. These are, I haven't ever seen one of these work in real life and stuff, but, I think that, you can just put it wherever you want it and it tells you what the current is. Like, hey, look, the current's 0 here. These things you have to build into it, and that's fine. The voltmeter, just like the real life voltmeter, you've got to put it on either side of something. So if I put it here, and here, it's going to tell me the voltage is 0 because these are theoretical wires that don't take any voltage to go across. In real life, they take a little bit, but we don't worry about it a whole lot. But if I want to know the voltage across this 1 ohm resistor, I put it across the 1 ohm resistor, right? So if I go like that, that's actually telling me the voltage across that 1 ohm resistor. But if I'm not careful and I go like clear to here, it'll tell me not the first one or the second. It's actually the first 2 combined, right? It's an equivalent resistor sort of thing, right? So as you're going through these, part of the point is being able to figure out what's an equivalent resistor to this. So maybe if you're having trouble with that, go ahead and just try and build another circuit with only 1 resistor and tinker with that until you can get the same currents and that kind of stuff. If you're not like getting it, right? Like if you're not like, okay, I see this relationship, make sure and jump into the Google Meet and we can, I can share screens with you on that. But again, I don't like just, giving you this stuff because then it doesn't make any sense to you. You kind of got to play with it a little bit on your own. But you're then going to do the same thing in parallel. And look at the totals there and stuff as well. So fill out the little fill out these little data tables as you're going, and those are going to be basically what your quiz is based on today. And then I'll kind of do a notes version of this tomorrow where we go over and I'll just give you some examples and then we'll start churning out some problems here and hopefully by the end of the week have circuits figured out pretty well, and the next week get into some of the other components like what capacitors do and what transformers do and some of that kind of stuff. I know transformers like Optimus Prime, they kill stuff, right? Stab everything in the head like Optimus Prime does. Anyway, have a good one.